Right. Good evening. In the last class, we started the last unit, right? Unit number 6, and discussed some of the basic things about that unit, right? So the last unit is ICT and sorry, the last unit is ICT and society. So in this unit, we have to take both sides of ICT. As we discussed earlier in the last class, ICT, the development of ICT produced advantages as well as disadvantages to the public, right? So we have to take both sides. But in grade 10, we took enough time to discuss the advantages, right? The roles of ICT. So here in grade 11, we will take only some roles or some contributions of ICT towards society, not all, because they were already taken. So majority of the things should be related to disadvantages or demerits, right? So as we discussed earlier, in this unit, we have to take all those demerits, all those disadvantages, all those problems, not randomly, right? We have to take them as different categories, as separate categories. So hope you remember the types or the categories which I mentioned earlier. So there are issues related to legal, right? So they are legal issues. We discussed about those legal issues, and we have ethical issues or issues related to values, and there are issues related to health, so health issues. We have social issues, right? Society related issues, and we also have environmental issues. So our environment is affected by ICT, so they are environmental issues. So there are so many issues. We have to take them one by one, category by category. So you can remember that I explained 2 of those categories on the other day. I explained about legal issue and also I explained about ethical issue, right? And I started to explain physical and logical issue. Okay. So before we continue today, let me take a minute or two to show the things which we learned in the last class. Right. So we started with this diagram. Development of ICT produced advantages as well as disadvantages, right? So these are the things which I talked about, the problems or issues created by ICT, legal issues, ethical issues, environmental issues, social issues, health issues, unwanted or harmful software called malware, and physical logical issues, right? Under legal issues, there is one called data theft. I clearly explained that. And unauthorized access, right? I explained this term unauthorized access. And I also explained about intellectual property. So here we discussed about the term intellectual property, and we discussed about how to prevent this theft, right? So hope you remember the document called patent in order to prevent this kind of theft, right? Then there is another one called fraud, right? That is a common problem occurred in terms of legal, right? So these are legal issues. Then we discuss one and only ethical issue called plagiarism. So you know, plagiarism is presenting someone's article or someone's creation as ours, right? So, and also there are ways to copy the other's work in our document. I explained, right? Hope you remember. Citing is one of the option. Quoting, and also you can take reference. So these are some of the mechanisms which allow you to copy others' work in your creations. Okay, right. So time to discuss about physical and logical security. This is another one often asked in your final paper, final examination. Let me explain the term physical issue and logical issue. So here the physical issue of physical security means providing security, right? Providing security to your computers in the form of physical components, right? Providing the security for your computers and other related devices in the form of physical devices. This is physical security, but this physical security includes one more definition or one more thing. So just now I described that physical security as providing the security with the help of a physical component, right? And also this physical security can be explained as protecting your computers and other devices from physical damages. I repeat it, protecting your computers, your printers and other devices from physical damages, right? Maybe burning and other damages. Both can be included in physical security. Students often confused, don't be confused, right? This physical security can be in two different dimensions, right? It is the protection by using a hardware component, physical component, and also it is a security method. It's a protection of protection of computers from physical damages, right? Such as burning and other harmful effects, right? Look here. So in order to provide physical security to the computer, we have so many devices, right? Take a look at the first one. UPS, using uninterruptible power supply. So I explained this one, I think, in the last class. So how can a UPS provide physical security to the computer? Just remember, right? I hope that you all know the functionality or function of a UPS. Why do we use UPS in a computer system? UPS saves the electricity and provides that when there is a power failure occurred, right? When the power is disconnected to the computer, UPS provides or UPS supplies the power continuously. So that is one of the physical security method, because you know what happens when assume if you are not using the UPS, right? When the power is disconnected, you know, all the hardware components will be stopped immediately. That is good. That's not good for the hardwares. So that is a physical damage. If it happens every day, you know, those hardware components will be affected. But when you use UPS, even though the power is disconnected, those hardware components are safe because electricity will be supplied for them for a certain amount of time, right? So that is a physical security. Okay, right. So this have a look at my definition or description for UPS. UPS can provide the electricity to computer even though the power is failed. The battery which is inside of a UPS saves the electricity and provides when the power is disconnected, right? So UPS is nothing, it's a battery, right? There is a battery inside that keeps the electricity and supplies the power whenever it is needed, right? So that is one of the physical security method. So look once again, you have to understand this one. Whenever I mention a security method like UPS, you have to make sure two things. First of all, try to understand the function of that particular method. If it is UPS, try to understand the function of the UPS. So here, UPS provides or supplies the electricity when there is a power failure occurred. So that is a function. Apart from the function, you have to understand why or how it is taken as a physical security method. So now look here, it is a UPS. Yes, you can easily understand that that's the function of a UPS. In addition to that, try to understand why it is categorized as physical security method, right? That is important. We categorize UPS as physical security method because, you know, UPS provides the electricity to the computer, right? Therefore, it saves your computer from damages, because if the UPS is absent, you know, computers can easily be damaged, right, by the power, right? So that is why it is added as physical security. Have you understood? And also you can justify that UPS is a physical component. So I already told you in the introduction, right? Physical security has to be taken in two different dimensions, right? So that is also correct, because it's a physical component. UPS is a physical component, so that can be taken as what physical security method. Okay, right. Take a look at the second one, hardware firewall. Using hardware firewall. The term firewall or even the term hardware firewall is not a new term to you, because we have already discussed that in grade 10 unit number 2, right? So we all know the hardware firewall or software firewall can prevent unauthorized access, right? So if you use firewall in your computer, the people who are in different part of the world cannot enter into your computer or cannot enter into your networks, right? So this is a protection method, or this is a protection component which prevents unauthorized access to the computers or to the network, right? This is firewall. But now we are talking about hardware firewall here, not software firewall, because this is about physical protection. This is about having a physical component as a security method. So here, when we use hardware firewall in the computer, you know, others cannot come into your computer, so your computer is safe. But if you don't use the firewall, you know, those unauthorized people can easily enter into your computer and they can do some bad things. They can delete your data and they can do some bad things. They can make some settings changes. They can make some changes in the settings and other things. So here we use hardware as a physical component. So this is a physical security method, right? Got it? Right. Then CCTV, closed circuit television. You know, CCTV is fitted in computer areas, computer rooms, and other surroundings in order to monitor the activities. So if something happens, you know, CCTV captures all the live videos, and those things can easily be tracked, right? So assume, right, computers are stolen by some people. So if you have CCTV, you can easily, identify those people, and you can bring those computers. You can bring those computers back, right? Even if some unwanted things happen, unwanted incidents happen, all can be recorded in CCTV. So CCTV is a physical thing. It's a hardware related thing. So it's a physical security. Okay. So then another device called surge protector. Surge protector. So look, surge protector is very vital for computers because it controls the voltage level, right? So see, most of our electronic devices are affected by the electricity. So if there is an electricity, if there is a sudden increment in electricity, you know, these devices can be burnt. The voltage increment is not good. So, you know, UPS never controls the electricity. UPS is for providing or supplying electricity continuously, right? But here, if there is a power increment or voltage increment takes place, you know, these hardware components can easily be damaged, easily be burnt. So to prevent such things, you have to use a device called surge protector. So what happens when you use surge protector? It controls the electricity. Even though there is a voltage increment happens, It never allows to increase the electricity. It controls the electricity and supply that to the computer. So your computer will be safe even though the power is increased, the voltage is increased. This is called surge protector. So have a look at the descriptions which I gave. So this is how the firewall looks like. So look here, it prevents the unauthorized access into computer networks and computers. Mostly this type of hardware firewalls are established or are connected with networks, not for individual computers, not for personal computer. We don't connect the hardware firewall with personal computer. For personal computer, maybe software firewall, okay, but hardware firewalls are very useful for computer networks. This is the one which I talked about, surge protector. A surge protector is an appliance or device designed to protect electrical devices from voltage spike, which means voltage increment, right? So it looks like an extension cord, looks like your, what you call a roll plug, but it is not that one, that it is not extension cord. It seems to be extension cord, but it is different. It is expensive also. So here it has to be connected with your electricity, with your household electricity, and your computer must be connected with this device, right? So if the electricity is increased, it will be stopped. Sorry, it will be controlled. This device controls the electricity, and your computer will be safe, right? So this is called surge protector. Then the most common method for protecting your computer physically, closing your doors, right? Limited access using locked doors. Now, when the door is not closed, when it is open, anyone can come and do bad things, damages, they can steal the devices. But if there is a restriction, people cannot enter easily, so your computers and other accessories will be safe, right? So always close or lock the door, which is very important to prevent the unauthorized access, right? And also you can use fuse for hardware or physical protection, right? Fuse, fuse is very vital for most of the hardware. So this is the one which I'm talking about. I know that most of you know this, right? So inside of a fuse, there is a small, tiny metal wire there. So if the electricity is, or if the voltage is increased, that particular tiny wire will be destroyed. So when the wire is disconnected, or when the wire is cut into two pieces, the power is immediately disconnected. So your computer will be safe, because power comes from one side and it goes along with the small wire, and then it goes to the computer, right? So when the wire is disconnected, power also disconnected. So it is very, very, very important device. Most of the devices, most of your electronic devices have fuse, and also you can see the fuse on the connector of your power cord. So if you have a computer power cord, try observing the connector part, right? So inside of the connector part, there is a small fuse. Fuse is not the biggest component. It is too small. Inside of that tiny device, there is a small metal wire there. That is the one which can protect your computer. So fuse is something different than a surge protector. Surge protector controls the electricity and supply that restricted electricity to your computer. But fuse itself, it burns, right? It burns and destroys itself, right? So when the power is increased, immediately it burns out, right? So by burning itself, it protects your computer system, right? So this is fuse. Finally, there may be some environmental factors which also provide physical security. So, there are some environmental factors such as dust, dust can easily affect your computer hardwares. That's why we don't want dusty environment. We want dust-free environment, right? So that is one of the environmental factors which can be categorized, which can come under that point, right? Dust-free environment. And also the other harmful things related to environment is smoke. Smoke can easily affect the computer, right? So your computer environment, your computer room or whatever, right? Your computer laboratory must be even smoke free, right? There cannot be any smoke inside. That is another environmental thing. The third one, it cannot be wet. Your computer location, maybe a room, maybe a lab, it cannot be wet. So it cannot be moisture, right? So it must be a moisture free environment. So these are the three things. Your computer location must be dust free. There cannot be any dust. There cannot be any smoke, and there cannot be any moisture, right? Then there cannot be any wetness, right? So it must be dry. So these are related to environmental things. So if you follow these mechanisms, so if you use these devices, you can protect your computer physically, right? So these are some of the physical security measures. Okay. So let's move to the logical thing. Right. So what did I explain about physical security? I take it again. I highlighted two things about physical security. Just remember them again. First one, providing security to the computer in the form of physical components such as UPS, right? Hardware firewall, fuse. Okay, one. And also I mentioned another thing, that is protecting your computer from physical damages. That is also physical security, right? Okay. Come to the logical security, right? So on the other side, logical security is not about, is not related to hardware or physical thing. So it is related to protecting your computer using some technologies or using some mechanisms or using some processes. So here in physical security, there may be a physical appearance, so there may be a physical device which can protect your computer. But here on the other side, in logical protection, there cannot be any device, there cannot be any physical device for protecting your computer. There may be a mechanism, there may be a technology used for protecting your computer, right? That is one. And also, the logical security always focuses on protecting the data and softwares which are inside of the computer. I repeat it, the logical security always takes care on the data which are saved in the computer and also the softwares which are installed in the computer. So logical security is all about protecting files and other related data and your software component, right? So without much introduction, I take them. So here we have some of the logical security method. See, I didn't give or I didn't display about logical security or physical security. The description is not displayed. So you may take a note somewhere, because sometimes they are important. You have to understand what logical security is or what physical security is, right? I verbally explain, but not given or on the slides, right? So try to understand. Physical security also be taken in two different dimensions, and also we can approach the logical security in two different ways, right? Okay, straight away we can take those what I call mechanisms or technologies, right? So first one, password, providing password. So we all know that password can prevent some of the unauthorized people by accessing your computer. So when your computer is protected from password, right, others cannot come into your computer and see your data or steal your data. This is a protection method. But look here, this password never protects your physical components. This password protects what? The data which are kept inside of your computer. So if someone doesn't know your password, he or she cannot get into your computer and see the things. So this is somehow a protection, right? So this is called logical security. Have you understood? Providing the password. Even take a look at your mobile phone, right? Cell phones, we use passwords, we use patterns, maybe fingerprints, some biometrics things, right? Like fingerprints, some other things like, handwriting recognition, facial recognitions, all of them are related to password. They are called biometrics passwords, biometrics password, right? Because they are related to living beings, right? Human, right? Fingerprint, handwriting recognition, facial recognition, all of them are related to logical security. They are of course password, but different dimension of passwords. Okay, so they are not physical things. Okay, that's first one. Second one, software firewall. I already talked about hardware firewall in physical security because hardware firewall is a physical component. It protects the computer, so it comes under physical security. But this is not hardware, this is a software, right? So, but this component also provides security to the computer. But since it is not a physical component, it is a logical security method, right? Software firewall is a logical security component. It does the same thing, right? I don't want to explain the function of a software firewall again. It does the same thing, prevents unauthorized people from accessing your computer or your network, right? This is firewall. But it comes under logical because it's not a physical thing. And that is also, next one is another common term. I hope that you all remember that, backup, checking backup. This is another mechanism, another activity. It is not a component, right? It's a technology. So what is backup? Copying the data from one computer to another storage devices, right? So you have a computer, that computer may have terabytes of data, right? Right? We don't know, right, when when they are destroyed, when they are affected. So as a precaution, we have to copy all those data in our computer to another storage device. This action or this process is known as backup. So by doing backup regularly, right, this is not one day action or right, one action, right? You have to do that regularly, maybe once a week, twice a week, once a month, twice a month. So it must be a regular process. If you do regularly, you can protect your data. Even though your computer is affected, you know, your data should be safe in somewhere, right? So it may be in your another computer, it may be in your pen drive, or it may be in your external hard disk. So that is backup. So by doing regular backup, we ensure the security of the computer, security of the data. But this is not the hardware related thing, physical related thing. So this is another logical thing. Okay. So remember these three important mechanisms for logical security: providing passwords to the computers, using software firewalls, and also taking regular backups. It would be better if I add another one, because in your book they added only three things. That's why I display these three. But better take one more thing that is also important. So there is a mechanism called encryption, right? I hope that some of you know this, because this is one of the common term, encryption. Right, look. So encryption is a technology which allows us to convert our data in an unreadable format in our computer. I repeat it, it's a technology which converts the data in your computer in a scrambled format, in an unreadable format. Assume you have so many important data in your computer. But if they are in a readable format, you know, anyone can access your computer and read it. If someone accessed your computer, they can easily read it. So this is harmful for you, right? But there is a mechanism to convert your data which are in your computer or which are in your database in an unreadable format, which means scrambled format. So even though someone access your computer or your database, yes, they can steal your data, they can take your data, but they are unable to read it because they are in unreadable format. This kind of a mathematical technology is called encryption. They use some sort of mathematical equation or mathematical formula there in order to convert them into unreadable thing. So this is called encryption. So this encryption also one of the logical security method, because it is not a hardware thing, it is not a component, it is a kind of technology which we use, right? So encryption is not added in our syllabus, but if you have interest, try search and understand. It is a very protective method for protecting our data, encryption. So this is something which takes time, right? Which needs more time to explain. But if you have interest, try finding some related stuff, right? So encryption, even you can encrypt your data in your computer, or even when you are sending an email to others, you can easily encrypt them. So what happens when you are sending? Assume that I'm sending something like hi, how are you to the other person. I'm sending this one, hi, how are you? So I'm sending this message, but sometimes that message might be caught while it is sent. In between me and my receiver, there may be another person who can catch and read the data if it is in readable format. So for me, in my case, it's hi, hello, right? How are you? That's not an issue. Anyone can see that, right? It is not harmful for me. But think about some of the vital informations which are being passed, right? So assume you are sending some of the sensitive informations, right? So if it is in someone's hand, sometimes it is harmful, right? So in that case, this kind of technology is very good. So you can convert your data into unreadable format. How are you might be as a different paragraph. There may be alphabets, there may be numbers, there may be symbols, they are mixed. So maybe 3 words looks like one big paragraph, right? So whoever who get that cannot understand the real meaning of that, right? So this is called encryption. So even the encryption can provide logical security, right? Right. So these are the logical security methods which can protect your computer. Okay. So this is the summary. So your computer can be protected from 2 different factors: physical issues, logical issues. So to prevent physical issues, we want physical security. These things can provide physical security, right? On the other side, your computer must be protected from some of the actions, some of the activities. So we want logical security. So these are the logical security method: passwords, software firewall, backups, and finally encryption. Okay, right. So this is all about physical security or physical issue and logical issue. See, I have briefly explained this logical security method here. You can read and understand. Password prevents unauthorized people to use someone's computer. A strong password is a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. What does it mean? Strong password? There may be 2 types of password. Actually, they are not type. Password can be strong password and also some of the passwords can be weak passwords. So strong passwords always have letters in capital and small format, numbers, and also symbols. So strong password is always a mixture of characters, not only alphabets. Alphabets must be there, not only one case, both uppercase and lowercase, capital, small is there, and also numbers and symbols. So strong passwords are always difficult to guess. Others cannot guess your password, right? So assume if you use your password as your phone number, it is weak password. Others can easily guess. If you are using the password in your date of birth, this is weak. Others can easily guess it. And also it is said that the strong password must have at least 8 characters. These are not important for your exam, but if you can try to remember, a strong password must be at least minimum 8 characters. Minimum 8 characters, right? Maximum any number, but minimum 8 characters. And also at the same time, that password must have capital, small letters, numbers, as well as symbols. As I mentioned earlier, weak password doesn't follow these rules. So it may have only numbers, it may have only text. Sometimes your date of birth given, that is a weak password. Your name is given as password, that is weak password. Sometimes telephone numbers, NIC numbers, people always give 1, 2, 3 as password, that is weak password. ABC as password, that is weak password. So simply the password which can easily be guessed is weak password. The passwords which are difficult to guess are strong passwords. Okay, so that is password. And also backup, I already explained. It is a process of copying the data from a computer to another storage device, right? Copying from computer to another storage device. Data should be safe even though the computer is broken. Okay, right. So far we finished 3 issues created by ICT. So what are the 3 issues? Legal issues, ethical issues. Just now we completed the issues related to physical and logical, right? So trying to take another issue related to environmental. So this is environmental issue. So here we will discuss only one major issue, right? There may be some other issues, but we will discuss one and only issue. But in fact, that is very, very harmful. So this is called electronic waste. So I hope that this term is not new for you, because this term is often spoken in different areas. Even when it comes to plastic, people often use e-waste, right? In some other areas, right? So whenever you have modern, I mean, the world becomes as a globe, right? As a global, village, right? So we often use such words in our day-to-day life, right? And also it's too easy to understand. Okay, take the word. So it is e-waste. But before we take e-waste, we all know the term waste. So we used to call something as waste when they are discarded. See, when you use food for your day-to-day life, that is food. But when we no longer need a food, assume that we use the food, but now that is wasted. So that is now waste, right? That is food waste. So even see, you use clothes. So when you are using clothes, yes, that is useful. But when the clothes are no longer needed, they become as waste. Even the books, right? So see, books are very useful now. But when you are growing up, the books that you used in the early ages might not be important, right? So they are just, waste now, right? So waste is something which we have given up, right? So now in this term, we have an additional word in front of that waste, that is electronic waste. So what is it? Simply discarded electronic equipments, electronic devices are called e-waste, right? Discarded, the devices which we gave up, right? So now we don't use it. So discarded electronic devices are called electronic waste. As you can see in this picture, there are televisions and some other electronic devices are put in as a dump, right? In one area, they are scattered. So all of them are electronic wastages, right? Right, look. So I have extracted this from your book. So there may be electronic waste is a common term, right? So any electronic device which is discarded can be called as e-waste. Look here. There may be scanners and copiers. There may be mouse and keyboard and other devices. Your personal electronic devices, right? Your personal usage devices. Your TV, television, CFL bulbs, your mobile phones, your audio video devices. So any devices, any electronic devices can be e-waste when they are discarded. Okay, right. So let's take the heading dispose. You know, disposing the electronic waste is not easy because you can easily destroy or you can easily dispose your papers, your clothes, your foods, because they are not harmful to the environment. You can easily, throw them, you can easily burn them, sometimes you can easily bury them, so they are not harmful. But when it is e-waste, it is harmful because these electronic devices have some harmful substances inside. There may be chemical, there may be some other harmful things inside. So it is not good to burn, or it is not good to throw in the sea, or it is not good to bury them, right? So there must be systematical approaches, okay? So look here, if it is burning, can you burn them? No, it is not good, right? So burning cannot be for electronic wastages. So can you bury them? It is not good. You cannot, you cannot bury them in under the ground, right? Underground. That is not good. So it is not good. So can you throw them in the water, in the sea? That is also not good because there are living beings there in the sea, so they can be affected, even the water is affected. So that is not good. So how can we dispose the e-waste? So what is the method for disposing? You cannot burn, you cannot bury, you cannot throw them in the water. So what is the ideal solution, or what is the ideal way? Right, so let's take the heading, proper disposal of e-waste. How to dispose e-waste safely, how to dispose or how to destroy them safely. So we use 3 different methods. I know that this is also something which is very familiar to you, right? People often recommend this method not only for e-waste, even for other harmful substances like plastic and other devices. So we use some devices. We use some methods which start with R, right? So starting from reduce, reuse, and recycle. All of them start from R. That's why this is called 3R system, right? 3R system. So let's understand these 3 actions one by one: reduce, then reduce, and recycle. So what is reduce? So how can a reduce be a proper disposal method? Right. So let's understand the term reduce first. Then we can justify that it is a proper method for disposing the e-waste. Right. So starting with reduce. So reduce is nothing. It's avoiding purchasing unwanted electronic devices. Right. So you have to avoid purchasing unwanted or unnecessary electronic components. Assume you have a mobile phone which is in working condition. you are using a mobile phone. So in addition to that mobile phone, you cannot buy another mobile phone unnecessarily. This is called reduce. So what happens if you purchase another mobile phone? You may use both mobile phones for a period of time, maybe for some days or maybe a month. You can use both mobile phones. But at one instant, you may feel that the new phone is better. It has some new features. So at that point, you try avoiding or try, ignoring your old phone. What happens then? That old phone becomes as an e-waste, because when it is not used, it becomes as waste. So it is e-waste. So that old phone becomes as e-waste because you purchased an unwanted, unnecessarily you purchased a new phone. That is the reason. But if you avoid purchasing the new phone, definitely you will continue using the old phone. That is good. There is no e-waste at all, right? So that is reduce. So you have a television. So while you have a television in a good condition, don't buy another television, new television. If you purchase a new television, definitely your old television will become as e-waste in the near future, right? So this is reduce. Okay, look here. Avoid purchasing unnecessary electronic devices. If a new device is purchased, in addition to the existing device, the old device becomes e-waste. Hope you understood, right? So reduce can be a safe method or proper method for e-waste disposal, right? So take a look at the second one. Reuse. This is reuse. So reuse means when you want to buy a new electronic device, try selling or donating your existing electronic devices to the others. So assume you have a mobile phone, but at the same time you need a new phone because technology is always changed, right? You have so many new features, requirements. You have so many new requirements. So definitely you need new phones. So okay, purchasing new phone is not bad, right? You can purchase, but when you decide to purchase a new phone, try selling your phone to another person or try donate that to another person. So if you donate or if you sell your existing phone, your old phone to the another one, there is no waste at all, because your phone, your old phone should be in the hand of another person. That person definitely uses that one, right? So there is no waste at all. This is one idea for reuse. And also we can define the term reuse in another manner. Here, what is the idea behind reuse? Sorry, selling or donating the electronic devices to the others. That is reuse. We can define the reuse in another way. So if the devices are not in working condition, if they are not repaired, or if they can't be repaired, you may use those devices to other purposes. Assume you have some electronic devices, but they are not repairable, right? You cannot repair them. So in that case, you cannot, sell them, because sometimes it is very hard. You cannot donate them. So try using those devices for some other purposes. Some of the electronic devices can be used as some decorative ornaments, right? As some handicraft work. Even have a look at the picture which I have shown here. Look here. So some of the computer monitors, CRT monitors, are used as flower vases. So they are used for flower vases. So rather than throwing them in the sea or in the roadside, try using them for other purposes. It is not harmful, right? So they are meaningful. So this is reuse. Check those descriptions which I have given. Selling or donating old electronic devices which are in working condition. This is reuse. Even using electronic devices which are not in working condition, disrepair, for other purposes. Other purposes such as using flower vases, decorative ornaments, handicraft. So they are reusing. Okay. So that is also a method for safe disposal, right? Proper disposal. Right. Then this is the common term, right? You know that recycle. So recycle can be another method for safe proposal. What is recycle? If your electronic devices are no longer needed, if they are not in working condition, try sending them to the recycling institution, recycling organization for making or for producing other products. So assume you have computers or you have some printers or you have some televisions or mobile phones. Assume they are not working, right? You cannot repair them. So try sending them for these recycling institutions or recycling companies. They will come to your door and collect them. So give them. These devices can be used as raw materials for producing other electronic devices. This is called recycle. So by using reduce method, reuse method, and recycle method, these harmful electronic waste can be properly disposed. Right? Always use this method. These are called 3R systems because everything starts from R. Okay. Look at the recycle. Equipment which are not repairable or reusable should be recycled. It should be handed over to electronic waste recycling company. Right? You have to hand over them to the companies. Okay. Right. Then finally, these if you don't dispose them properly, if you don't dispose them safely, you will be definitely affected. You will be affected. There should be so many harmful effects to your health. So let's check some of the harmful effects which can be caused by e-waste. These may not be important for the exams, but you can understand them. So look at them. Damage to brain cells, right? The cells in the brain can be damaged. So you know this is very, very harmful. Your nervous system can be affected, right? That is also harmful effect. Allergy on the skin, right? There may be allergy on your skin. So sometimes it is not good for us. There should be some harmful diseases like kidney can be affected, liver related issues happen, right? Even your central nervous system can be affected, right? Finally, your DNA can be affected and also chromosomes can be affected, right? So all these things are very, very, very harmful, right? So all these things are caused because of improper e-waste disposal. If you dispose properly, you will be safe. Otherwise, these are very, very harmful diseases, harmful health related problems, right? So this is environmental issue. Only one, as I told you earlier, I took only one environmental issue called e-waste, right? So you should understand the term e-waste and you should know the methods used for proper disposal of e-waste, and also if you can remember some of the harmful diseases which can be experienced by people, right? So in the next class we have to take the other areas, right? Other areas related to ICT development, right? You know, there should be health issues, there should be some social issues, even we have malware. So I will explain those other things later. So again, try watching this class or video again and understand the things, right? So it's enough. We conclude the lesson today at this point, and we will continue from this point in the next class, right? Thank you.